Now, less than 24 hours after Donald Trump warned everyone to evacuate Tehran, wow, Donald Trump puts out this on social media. The highways out of Iran's capital were absolutely, positively packed with cars. Millions appear to be listening to Donald Trump and taking the president's words rightly very seriously. Unfortunately, over the past 2 months, the mullahs of Iran, they failed to do the same. As the president put it, quote, Iran should have signed the deal. I told them to sign. What a shame, a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, unquote. That is the Trump doctrine, for those of you that don't understand. It is common sense. Big part of the Trump platform, he would say it over and over again. Our platform is that of common sense. The #1 state sponsor of terrorism that has threatened to wipe Israel and the United States off the map repeatedly and fired either themselves or through their proxies, what are hundreds of thousands of rockets over the years at this small country. This is something the president has emphasized over and over again. He has done it over the years. Look at your screen and watch.
Believe me, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, that I can tell you. Most importantly, the United States and Israel can declare with one voice that Iran must never be allowed to possess a nuclear weapon. Never, ever. Reaffirm that Iran must never be allowed to obtain, under any circumstances, a nuclear weapon. In order to ensure the other big move, the Iranian regime never obtains nuclear weapons. A regime with this track record must never be allowed to possess a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Thank you very much.
Now, take a look at your screen. The president, look at this. He has been saying these exact words going back to 2011, steady, firm, and consistent. And tonight, the American people overwhelmingly agree the country's most accurate pollsters, that would be Trafalgar, Insider Advantage. They nailed the 2016, 2020, 2024 presidential elections. They posed the following question, and it is right to the heart of the issue here. What is your opinion of President Trump's position that Iran must be prevented from developing a nuclear weapon, adding, by any means necessary? Take a look at your screen. A whopping 75% of the American people agree with the president. And according to a Harvard-Harris poll, 85% of voters say Iran should not be allowed to obtain a nuclear weapon. A majority of voters also want the president to take out Iran's nuclear program with a military operation. And another poll, well, from Insider Advantage, has the president's approval rating above water, 10 points above water, outpacing past two-term presidents by far. Now, this brings us to a critical question at this hour. Israel has successfully now targeted 2 of the 3 most major Iranian nuclear facilities. The third location, the Fordow enrichment plant that Jennifer Griffin was talking about, is buried deep under a mountain. This is south of Tehran. This is believed to be the most significant and secretive nuclear facility inside of Iran. In order to prevent the mullahs from getting a nuclear weapon, this facility must be destroyed. Tonight, the way I see it, there are 3 options. One, Israel could use a tactical nuclear weapon to wipe out the site. They don't have bunker buster bombs. That would obviously be not only highly controversial, but come with massive risks to the region. It is not a good option. Option number 2, Israel can send in a team of commandos on the ground, also very risky with a much lower chance of success. The third best option involves the United States of America, our military, which is equipped with these 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs capable of penetrating that mountain. Israel does not have this critical weapon in its arsenal, and they do not possess the large bombers that are capable of dropping an ordnance of that size. So now President Trump has a decision to make. Will he deliver the final blow to Iran's nuclear program? Will he rid the world of this clear and present danger and this existential threat? Will he end Iran's threat of nuclear terror once and for all and make the world a safer place for generations to come? This is not an easy decision for anybody. And let me be clear. It is not without its own risks. But ask yourself these questions. Would the world be better off without the world's #1 state sponsor of terror that has fired hundreds of thousands of missiles into Israel, either by themselves or through their proxies? Should they have nuclear weapons? Do the people of Israel and the rest of the region deserve a chance to live in peace without the threat of a nuclear-armed Iran? They would hold the world hostage. How many rockets, ask yourself, launched into our country, a small town, a big city in the United States? How many missiles would it take for you to demand that your country fight back? And again, this isn't just about Israel. All of Israel's neighbors in the Arab world, they want Iran's nuclear program dismantled. Nobody's speaking out on behalf of Iran. This is also about the United States. The Islamic Republic of Iran doesn't just threaten Israel. They have vowed to destroy our country, kill our people. Let's go back to your screen. The threats and acts of violence have been nonstop since the Iranian Revolution. That was in 1979. Jimmy Carter was president. Remember, Iran's extremists under the Ayatollah Khomeini, their regime seized America's embassy in Tehran. They took 66 American hostage, 444 days. Iran was also behind the 1983 Beirut bombing of a Marine Corps barracks. 241 Marines died that day. A suicide bombing at America's embassy in Beirut, that killed 17 Americans, also directed by Iran. The mullahs were also behind the attack at the Khobar Towers, killing another 17 American troops. Shia militias, backed by Iran, have also been responsible for countless deadly terror attacks against the U.S. Troops in Iraq. Iran also launched a massive missile attack on U.S. bases in Iraq in 2020, injuring over 100 American servicemen and women. There were also reportedly multiple attempts by Iran to assassinate President Trump. Remember, we've talked a lot about Iranian assassination squads, thanks to Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mayorkas, complicit media, and complicit Democrats that told us the border was closed and secure and lied to us. Anyway, by the supreme leader threatening all-out war against the United States this year. 2 years ago, Iran vowing that the U.S. would suffer heavy losses. Iran's naval commander threatened to sink U.S. ships in the Gulf. In 2022, Iran declared that it can use nuclear missiles to turn New York into hellish ruins. And, of course, the unofficial motto of Iran: death to Israel, death to America. And by the way, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is a new threat issued almost every day. Do you really want a country like that in possession of a nuclear weapon, or would the world be wise and smart, and would we be applying common sense by taking this threat out while we own the skies over the entire country of Iran? Sadly, the Democratic Party, they're too busy playing politics, being crazy, to even care. In addition to the riots and the anti-Semitism, obsession with gender identity, now Senator Tim Kaine, he's now trying to shield Iran, limit Trump's authority as commander-in-chief with a new resolution that would require congressional approval before any action against Iran. Of course, Tim Kaine didn't push for a similar bill when a mentally inept and cognitively compromised Joe Biden was president. For the crazy Democratic Party, everything's about power and politics. Now, this all started with Barack Obama. How we never got to the bottom of that idiotic Iranian deal, payloads of cash given to Iran, $1.7 billion. That cash payment alone, bankrolling hundreds of ballistic missiles and fomenting terror all throughout the region. Over 1 million rockets you can buy with that amount of money. Joe Biden, well, he let them get even richer because he didn't enforce the sanctions that was bankrupting Iran that Donald Trump had put in place. And now, per usual, it is up to Donald Trump to clean up their mess. The good news, our president has a plan. It is not forever wars. That is part of the Trump doctrine. Or boots on the ground. That is not part of the Trump doctrine. Common sense is, and Iran not having a nuclear weapon also is. Iran will simply never have one. And the threat posed by the Islamic Republic will be over.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.